Finally!
Finally!
The Sabres have done it! We did! Yes! 18-game winless streak is finally over. Oh my God. Finally. After having our hearts broken only 3 nights ago now, I think, against the Flyers before we just won a 3-goal lead going into the third period, and we blew it. We blew it. They tied it 3-3, forced overtime, and they beat us in overtime in the most heartbreaking fashion we have experienced all damn season. And then finally, we had our second crack at them, and we finished them off. Once again, a 3-goal lead going into the third period. Same scenario, same exact scenario, but this time, the Buffalo Sabres closed it out. We did it. Holy shit. Stephen Fogarty scored. We deserve to have one victory, man. Just one. All right? We could not go the rest of this season without winning a damn game. And the way things were going, it seemed like that was extremely possible. But let me tell you one thing. Ever since the firing of Ralph Krueger, we have all seen a significant improvement in the way they have been playing hockey. Obviously, like I said in the video when I talked about Ralph Krueger being fired, if you're expecting the Sabres to go out and win the game immediately after that happened, you would be extremely mistaken. The Sabres weren't going to win as soon as Ralph Krueger was fired. But to say there hasn't been improvement, to say that there isn't an absolute stepping stone being taken here would be a lie. The Sabres are scoring. The Sabres weren't even scoring under Krueger. We couldn't get a shot on net under Krueger. Now we're finally even putting goals on the board. That's a step in itself. 18 games that we went without a win. It was getting to the point of just disgust. It was getting just sickening. It was getting to be laughable. There's no other word for it. There's no good term for what we have been put through over these last 18 games. And finally, the 19th game, we break the damn streak. Linus Ullmark is a #1 goaltender in this league, and I will not hear another argument otherwise. The last win that we saw was against the Devils on February 23rd. That was over a month ago. Oh my golly. And apparently the last win that wasn't against the Devils was January 26th against the Rangers in the 7th game of the season. Oh, like, what did we do to deserve this, man? Holy shit, but it's just like the team that we have been seeing over these past couple games, a team that it looks energized, revitalized. They look like they're playing free. They look like they're playing with creativity. We are no longer being bogged down by this defensive, like, awful-ass mindset by Ralph Krueger that was forcing our puck-carrying defenseman to literally do not, like, he was forcing our offensive defenseman to literally be cinder blocks and do absolutely nothing except play hardcore defense. That was it. When we have the best offensive defensemen, some of the best offensive defensemen in the league, when they're obviously at their best, when they haven't been over the past couple games or this entire season as a whole, but we have some of the most talented offensive defensemen, and he was literally telling them not to move with the puck. He was like, you have the puck, do not care. Like, he was not letting them do anything with the puck. Being able to see Montour carry the puck, and he had 2 goals last night against the Flyers. Granted, one was an empty net goal, but still, seeing Montour be able to fly up and down the ice with his offensive ability, seeing Dahlin, of course, Dahlin was looking like the biggest bust ever. Obviously, he isn't. It was just the fact that he was playing under the worst coach in NHL history, but he finally is looking more alive. He's looking more creative. Yoki Haru is coming alive. Our defensive core has looked a lot better. We're scoring goals. I don't know. Like, Stephen Fogarty scored. Stephen freaking Fogarty. Do you know who that is? Because I didn't. Dude comes up from the AHL and scores in our first win since freaking January 26th against somebody that isn't the Devils. Like, I mean, we're scoring goals. I finally was able to break my silence on the Sabres. I told myself until we win a damn game, I am not talking about the Sabres on this channel. And I told myself I'm not going to talk about the Sabres until they fired Ralph Krueger, and they finally went and did that, but then we just hadn't won a game for, I think it was 6 games. I think it was 6 games after Krueger got fired. We finally have won, and I'm like, I'm not talking about them until we win. There's just nothing to talk about. I'm just going to be saying the same things that everybody else is saying. There's no reason to reiterate everybody else's feelings. What's the point in that? Because I'm as aggravated, as frustrated as everybody else. I'm just going to be standing here yelling to my camera as everybody else is doing when they're watching the freaking game on television. What is the difference? But now the Sabres have won. Finally, holy shit, I can finally be happy for the Buffalo Sabres for once. I want to see this team healthy. I want to see this team with a good coaching staff. I would be perfectly fine with running back with the same roster next season, a full fresh season with a healthy start. I think we could be a playoff team. I was saying that before the season started, and I still could say that now. I mean, as stupid as it may sound, we have a good roster. It just has been very mismanaged. Cody Eakin's not good, all right? Kyle Poso, not very good, all right? But we have very good pieces that I wish we really knew how to utilize at the beginning of the season, because this could have been a really special season had things not gone the way they've gone, with Ralph Kruger being a moron, with all the injuries, just the unlucky season that we've had up to this point. I think we could have been a really good team. Obviously, with Eric Stahl gone, I'm assuming that we're going to see a couple other moves. I'm thinking Brandon Montour will probably be on the move. I saw a report that said GM Kevin Adams was getting calls about, I think, Ristolainen and Reinhart, and he said he didn't want to move any of the core players, but I would not mind moving Ristolainen. I think that's something that should have been done a long ass time ago, and now obviously his value's only been dropping as of late, but hopefully we still be able to get something out of him. But if we're not, I really wouldn't mind holding on to him, because for some reason I just have a feeling that we would get probably pennies or, you know, peanuts for Ristolainen at this point, and I would rather just hold on to him. But I am fully expecting some other moves to happen. Anybody that ever said Jack Eichel was the problem, anybody that ever said we should trade Jack Eichel, you need your brain checked, all right? Because that's the last thing that ever needed to happen. Jack Eichel is not the problem. And, you know, if you really haven't realized, ever since Jack Eichel got hurt, that's when things really got bad. And Jack Eichel was playing with, like, 4 different injuries, and this dude was still putting the team on his back and doing everything he possibly could. And, you know, for you to say that he needed to be traded and he's the problem, you're out of your mind, because we have been tremendously worse without Jack Eichel. You know, it's been a noticeable difference. And without Jack Eichel, our power play is pretty much invisible. We had one of the top power plays in the league when Jack Eichel was playing, and now all of a sudden our power play is literally horrible because Jack Eichel's not on it quarterbacking it. So Jack Eichel is our best player, and it's not even close. I know I already, you know, touched on it very briefly, but Linus Ullmark is a #1 goaltender. I know everybody was questioning going into the season, including myself, but Linus Ullmark is indeed a #1 goaltender in this league. I don't care what anybody says, and I truly think that the tandem of Carter Hutton and Linus Ullmark could work. Granted, they have been having injury issues here and there. Carter Hutton is not somebody you could plug and play every other game, but he is definitely somebody that could play in relief of a guy like Linus Ullmark every, you know, 4 games or so. He could come in and play that 1 or 2 games you might need him to give Ullmark a rest. I don't think he's that bad to the point where he can't just kind of be a step-in guy to give your starter a rest. He's not somebody you can alternate, you know, games with, but he's definitely somebody that can be a relief. But an upgrade there would be nice. I want to see Cody Eakin gone. Kyle Poso, I'm sorry, he needs to be gone. I think Brandon Montour should be on the way out as well. I'm expecting a lot more to happen. I would also probably expect Taylor Hall to be on the way out. I think he's probably done here. I don't blame him. I saw people bashing him for saying he would be open to a trade, you know, out of here. I don't know why he would get hate for that. I mean, literally, Ryan O'Reilly just a few years ago went through the same damn thing. He said he lost his passion for hockey by playing here. Everybody hated on him, and he left, won a Stanley Cup, and was the MVP. I mean, it's the same freaking narrative. I mean, you get Sabreized here. You get literally broken down to the last piece of bone you have in your body because of how bad it is here. And, you know, for players to say and voice their frustration because they're just upset and, you know, not happy with the way things are going, to say that they'd be open to a trade and to get hate for that is just ridiculous. So I would expect Taylor Hall to most likely be on his way out. Unfortunately, I think things could have went a lot better had all the injuries not happened, had Ralph Kruger not been a moron. But like I said, that's just the unfortunate events of this season for us. Now, of course, the big question remains, do we let Granato and his coaching staff stick around for the next season? Is he doing a good enough job to retain the head coaching position? I'm kind of split on the subject. You know, everybody's talking about this Nate Lehman guy coming out of Providence to be our next head coach. Potentially, he's had, you know, a connecting link to the Buffalo Sabres head coaching job. I'm not too sure how high I am on that idea. I'm not sure where that came from and why everybody's still talking about it. I'm not sure why everybody loves this idea either, but it seems like it's more liked of an idea than not. But I wouldn't mind seeing Granato stick around and have another shot at it. But to say that Granato's doing an outstanding job or anything like that, I think is being blown out of proportion just a little bit, because we're going from Kruger to Granato here. We're going from somebody that's completely incompetent when it comes to coaching a hockey team to somebody that is, you know, relatively competent. It's just the fact that Kruger was so bad that it's making Granato look a bit better now. I think we just have to keep that in mind, that we went from the absolute worst situation with the worst head coach that we possibly could have to somebody that actually somewhat knows what they're doing. So it's probably making Granato look a little bit better, and that's not taking any credit away from what he's doing, because he is doing a great job with the roster. He obviously knows how to use our team. Does that mean he gets to keep the job going into next season? I don't know. It's going to be a good question to be asking going into the offseason. I can't imagine, you know, we get rid of him before the season ends. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm also just not very high on this Nate Lehman guy. I'm just not sure where this connection came from, and I'm also not sure why everybody's so high on him. I guess I wouldn't hate it, but I think I'd rather give Granato another shot before giving Nate Lehman a shot. I would rather go with somebody else that's a proven NHL coach before letting Nate Lehman step in coming out of college. That's just my personal opinion. But the last thing I do want to say is, holy hell, I have never loved a guy on the Sabres more than I love Jeff Skinner right now. Jeff Skinner is the heart and soul of this team right now. I don't care what anybody says. This dude skates around and doesn't give a shit about anything or anybody around him. He just plays hockey and he chirps his way through the entire game. He was literally pissing off every single Flyers player last night. He does not give a shit. This dude is just skating around and being a pest every way he could. I love Jeff Skinner, dude. He is the heart and soul. And the fact that Rolf Kruger went out of his way to bench Jeff Skinner like that, you know, to bog him down like that, it's just another reason why Rolf Kruger just was absolutely awful. Jeff Skinner is a spectacle. He is somebody that I love. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want him to be anywhere else but on the Buffalo Sabres. I love that guy, and I want him to stay here for sure. So I'm glad to be talking about the Sabres again. I can't imagine there's going to be much news going forward. Maybe a couple trades and moves here and there, but I don't know how many videos I'll be making on the Sabres going forward. I mean, like, what is there even to talk about? I'll cover any trades that happen. If there's any big front office changes, I'll cover that as well. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to cover the games individually. What's the point anymore? We're out of the playoffs pretty much. I think we're almost mathematically eliminated. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I would appreciate that. If you want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there, I would appreciate that as well. But I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.